What can you tell us about recipes for beer at a place like William and Mary in the 18th century?
When you made beer in the 18th century, what you did was take one large pile of grain and soak it in hot water. You take that liquid out and you boil it with the hops and you create a beer. The English did this 3 times. Each time they put fresh water into the grain, they got less sugar. So the beers got weaker as they went. So the first batch of beer you make would be called a strong beer. And it would be probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 8 to 10 or 12% alcohol. So very strong. It was designed for keeping. They often called them keeping beers because you would keep them and store them in your cellar for long periods of time. The second batch was often referred to as table beer, and it would be probably closer to 6 to 7% alcohol and would be more of an everyday kind of beverage. And then the third runnings from the grain were referred to as small beer. And this was the everyday drink for most Virginians and Englishmen. It was probably closer to anywhere from 3 to 4% alcohol and was sort of the everyday beverage. It tended to go bad quicker, and so it was drunk as it was made rather than being stored or saved for later.
So in the college rules, when it says that no spirits may be served at the table except for beer, cider, toddy, or spirits and water, would that be small beer?
Well, probably so. Most generally, that's what they're going to be making at the college. And one of the things we'll find out more of when we've gotten through all the archaeology is whether there was evidence of barley there. Because in Virginia, instead of making their small beer from the third runnings of the grain like they did in England, Virginians used molasses instead. They would take hops and wheat bran and molasses and throw it into a pot of water, boil it up, strain everything out, and then ferment that. And one thing that we don't do as often today are a wide variety of beer punches. That's in fact what the toddy they're referring to in that is. And there are all sorts of beer punches, probably the most popular being what's called flip. And flip was a mixture of beer, eggs, and sugar and spices. And you would mix all this together in a big glass, and then you would take a red hot poker and stick it into the glass. The beer would then flip or foam out over the top, and then you would drink it down. And very popular, especially in the wintertime. Any tavern in New England would have flip irons in the fire and would be producing this beverage for people to drink. I would imagine at the college the tablewares they're using would be leather, or wood, or pewter. Not going to go with glassware for college students. Probably going to be too expensive and too breakable for them.